$199.
Are you serious? Oh my god. We could probably score you. I bet Philip can pick up, or Flaring can pick up another item on the market board.
I mean, I got, what do I got? I got 100 Centurios left. Got 260 more tombstones. That helps.
You can check for an accessory on the lower tombstones, but I think you're pretty far from it. Hey Sailor, how you doing? Sorry, what was that, Matt?
Does he have a piece that's low that he can replace with Centurios?
I think everything he's got is above 170, right?
Yeah, I've got two 180s and 185 and 190. But the 185 and 190 are left side pieces.
I am typing that stuff right now, Darkstar. Do not have a magic computer that does it for me. Alright, we're going to start doing the main story quest cutscenes. I'll just start plugging through them since I let them play out. And I usually go through them pretty slowly. Flarewing, are you back?
Yes.
Guess what eye level Apex is at?
200.1.
199.9.
99.9.
Yeah, I don't know how many decimal points are here, but it's not rounding up.
Alright, let me go get you that one good bracelet. Or whatever the... What did we decide on? The earrings.
What's your lowest thing?
Find it. My lowest thing is the two 180, one earring and one bracelet. But
Cool.
But it's also the cheapest thing, you know.
Earrings should be the cheapest thing.
We quite understand.
According to my previous research.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can get to the Containment Bay trial today. If we go for 30 minutes and we're not done with the story, we'll just try to pop in Midas instead. Playing for an hour and a half. I got a hard stop at noon Pacific.
Cool.
Catching up on one of our friends out here missed the last season of Game of Thrones, and we're like, you need to watch all of it and watch the newest stuff like ASAP.
Yeah.
Because now there's you know, stuff on Jimmy Fallon that's spoiling shit. Can't get away from it.
Yeah, that didn't happen, by the way, if I'm going to call it.
Yeah, that's very much an R that happened thing.
Oh, okay. Jimmy Fallon is exactly the kind of thing that pops up on my YouTube that I would never solicit on my own. So I could legitimately get spoiled from that. So.
Gotta watch it, man. I don't think you can make it if you're waiting on the book.
Yeah, I think I've decided I'm gonna watch it. I'm trying to get through the last season of The Good Wife, and then I'm gonna start it. But that'll happen quickly. It's a unique thing. Trying to explain to my parents the other day how the difference in a writing talent for adapting a screenplay and a writing talent for an original screenplay. And it's interesting to see the showrunners hop into new territory from material they're already familiar with in another respect.
That's a cool thing to think about. That probably happens like exceedingly infrequently, right? I guess that happens in anime pretty often because anime gets ahead of the manga all the time and they have to write filler.
Well, yeah. I mean, everybody knows Full Metal Alchemist. Very famously, even in America, you know, they caught up to the manga storyline, made their own ending, and eventually they went back and redid the anime with the manga original. But a lot of people prefer the first. That happens all the time.
I wonder if this is gonna, well, I don't know, because Kingkiller Chronicle just got adapted. I was gonna wonder if they're gonna be more careful about adapting series that are not yet complete.
I can't imagine that's a very large concern with any people holding the money. I don't think they're sophisticated enough in adapting properties to make that call. They say, hey, swords and sorcery. We can make money on this. What's not done, we have smart people that can fix that.
Mhm.
You know, I think that's probably the most thought of it put into it. The
So
Patrick
when does that
Rothfuss
book
of
get
the world.
good?
We wish to treat with the
What's that, Matt?
next time.
When did that book get good?
To that end, I would
Oh, when did it get good for me? The major inciting incident, when he first starts talking about the past, is when I got pretty heavily involved. Because before
that's
then,
like
there
3
were
or 4
little
pages,
mistakes.
and now he's at the university, and it's like all boring and shit again.
Yeah, I see. To me, it's already happened. Whenever they talked about what happened to his gypsy family, university is cool, but it's kind of. I
It-
like seeing him try to find the big answers and being cock-blocked at every turn, even though he was right there in front of the fucking library. You know?
I think the big thing is that if you're just like reading the book and saying that the events are what's happening or what's actually going on, there's not something else going on behind the scenes. He's peppering all of the text with little hints at other things that may have actually happened in the past, and there'll be a little throwaway story that you'll hear in a tavern that's not at all a throwaway story. It's more important in the bigger picture. So it's like the whole, reading Song of Ice and Fire and theorizing on crack. And at this point, there's like actually a lot of theories that are pretty legit. There's say that the ratio of legit, well-backed theories in Kingkiller Chronicles to like tinfoil is much better. There's more legit things to think about.
One thing that I did do that may be kind of neat is there's a page early on in I think both books that Kavoth talks about himself. Like, I am known as so and so the so and so. I've been known to do this, been known to do that. They've called me the King Killer. They've called me the so and so. If you go back to that one page, and you kind of control F that or put it in your Kindle bookmarks, then you can kind of say, oh, okay, so eventually he's going to have to do this. Or eventually they're going to have to explain the story of why he's called that.
Yeah, well, so
Eventually
far
you
he's
learn
just
things.
been like, hey, I begged and I got some shoes. That was really cool when the guy gave me shoes for free.
Yeah.
There's something really off-putting to the book for me. I don't know.
Nah.
Has he
Man,
done any?
Like, that's definitely the least cool part of his story. For me, when he gets to university is when shit really picks up. It's like when Harry Potter gets to Hogwarts. I don't really care about what's going on to him.
You're actually
But
kind of
they have to-
irritated when he's not at Hogwarts because you want him to get to
Yeah.
Hogwarts already.
But they kind of have to explain to you how shitty his life is, I guess. It's
He does use those talents a lot.
He needs street cred.
Basically, they're
Yeah.
trying. At the university, everybody is rich, and the first book is a lot about money. That's a big motivating factor.
It's
and a
actually
big,
there's so much money in both books.
there is. So I think
Converting
what they're
silver
trying to do
to
is
copper.
yeah, they're drawing a super strong contrast, or he's trying to make it an interesting contrast about how he's poor and he's scrappy, and he can't really tell people that he's poor, but he still has to make his own way. And that fact is why he meets a lot of people. That fact is why he makes a lot of particular choices later on. So it's for plot reasons, I think, that he has to be scrappy in the beginning.
I would agree that Tarbean's probably the most boring part of the entire series. And with Hapax, that the university is when it gets really interesting. Especially all the stuff with sympathy. I think that's really cool.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that.
It really does feel like adult Harry Potter to me. Not that Harry Potter didn't become kind of adult, but
Mm-hmm.
they're still stupefying each other. Whereas I feel like Kavoth really gets some cool shit he can do. The magic system is the best part, Matt. You need to get to that part.
Well, no, I mean that is a legit point. Like, I hate to say it, but I still, when I think of any kind of magic, I go back to that one YouTube GIF of the little guy in a cosplay outfit going magic missile, right? That's the first. I'm not the kind of guy that plays a mage character first off anything. That's just the way it is. But
He's
the
practically a
execution
bard, like a D&D bard. They even joke, I
He's
think, when he
absolutely a
plays D&D at like PAX. And they did a joke in the last one at PAX Prime where they showed his character and they put in parentheses basically Quoth. Like,
Yeah. No, I mean I've noticed that as the book's going on, actually. In the second book, he finds an archer type dude in a small setting and a mercenary type,
yeah.
But it's not on the nose. It's
Mhm.
interestingly done.
There's some cool stuff that's just like thinking about magic, so that it's a really mild scene. It's not a spoiler or anything. They're talking about like the whole naming power, and they sit him down and they're like, okay, you know, let's take this ball, throw it to your friend. Now let's like work out the math. Let's work out the laws of projectile motion. Let's do the physics to figure out how this works. And they sit there for an hour and they're having a really hard time with figuring out the physics of throwing a ball. And then they like call in a janitor and throw the ball at him and he just catches it. Like, see, that's the whole point. Like, you can't sit here and study naming. You just have this intuition for it. And we can't really understand it in the same way that we can understand sympathy. Sort of comparisons like that are really like, I think they're well written and well derived. It's clever.
Yeah, the writing style that I like, especially coming from some other books that were really verbose and stuff, is that he knows how to write with brevity and punctuation, still eloquently. I think it's like Hemingway but better, because I'm not a huge Hemingway fan. You know,
I hate Hemingway.
Yeah, it's
sorry.
It's clarity of language that I think is kind of nice, and it helps sell the book to me. Because it's a lot of the concepts that are going on are heady sometimes, especially with the sympathy stuff. But it's plain spoken, it's eloquent.
So dragons. Oh really, Serp? Yeah. We'll see. I mean, if we're really close, we don't have to... If we're, like, you know, a mission away from being able to do it, we won't just cut it off, but... Isn't it only supposed to take, like, 2 minutes?
Couple minutes.
Talk to an NPC 3 seconds later. I think it's a unique problem with Final Fantasy XIV compared to every other MMO, because it is set up in such a way that there's all this stuff you have to do exactly once, and you never have to do it ever again, because your alts are your same character, and no one has an alt. So it's really easy to delete that part of your memory. Like, I don't remember much about not having flying in all of the Heavensward zones, but I just remember it sucking.
I want to see you guys get to some cutscenes with animation. After having gone through the majority of Uncharted, I want to see what it's like to have a non-motion capture animated cutscene now. They're really well done in that game, and you get used to it really fast.
Mm-hmm.
See Lucia over here, and clearly no one's mocapping her, but they're still making emotion somehow.
I don't know, the cutscenes in this game are amazing. There's no reason for them to put as much polish into them as they have. Every camera cut, like it's really impressive.
Yeah, I try to notice that stuff, because you don't need motion capture for it to be good, but a lot of times it's a quick way to get something better. You know, you don't want Bethesda type animation,
Right.
but that's the low end of the spectrum. But you can do a lot without having it.
This duty we have to do is crap.
Is that a pun?
No, it's
No, it's really crap.
I probably have to be 60 to do these, right? I can't get some okay. Maybe I can get some extra XP in my paladin. Flying out of Dodge. Idleshire.
How close is your paladin to 60?
55. I have no idea what I'm doing though, because I've leveled it exclusively with like marks and daily beast tribe quests. So Sheltron's pretty cool.
Yeah.
what's
Sheltron is just fun.
What's the correct? Is it do you Goring Blade and then you just do Rage of Alone until Goring Blade runs out, and then Goring Blade again if you're just doing rando content?
Basically, you at 60 you'll get your very last new addition to your new moveset. So you have a three thing rotation. The first time you do your 1, 2, 3 ending with the Rage of Alone, to get your TP, or rather to get your threat. And then the second time you apply the dot with Goring Blade, you go through the path to get that. And then the last time you use your level 60 move for just DPS.
Okay.
So it's threat.dps, threat.dps, until you've got sufficient threat, or until you need more DPS, or something changes like that. Relatively simple compared to most.
Whoa, it's a Catmancer. Not really, I think.
I'm terribly
What?
sorry. Kept you all waiting.
Holy shit.
You need not apologize.
Was she in this before? Or is this specific mission? I think that she's been mentioned before, hasn't she?
They name checked her.
Yeah.
She's a friend of Minfilia.
That's pretty sweet. I like the costume too. It's a nice callback.
Yeah.
Motherland.
It's like if you actually had that costume in Final Fantasy VI and put it on Realm. Probably look kind of like that.
You must be the warrior.
I forget which job she has that looks like that. I'm gonna look at Final Fantasy V.
A pleasure to meet you at last, miss.
I thought she's been mentioned a bunch. Somebody dropped it earlier.
And who is that I spy but young Alpha No Levieux himself?
Her voice doesn't really match her character.
No more too in my absence, or are those lifts in your boots?
Yeah, what is that the? Oh, that's a white mage. Okay, so if she's a white mage, then that's totally appropriate.
We,
Oh wow, she does have an interesting voice in English.
I shall forever be indebted to her for her sage guidance.
Yeah, if you look at Kryl on the Final Fantasy wiki and look at the white mage, it's exactly the same costume. That's really cool.
Wow.
You need to see more of that.
It's funny that you go to Kryl for that. Just in Japanese it'd be Kuriru. It's the same thing as Krillin being Kuririn, right? it's a very interesting way to try to Englishify it.
In the US, like the fan hack that I played before FF5 got an official release, they named her Kara, which is probably a little bit closer to the sound they were going for.
Thank you, Kryl.
Elegant, yeah.
It looks like the characters call her Kryl.
For what? I haven't finished yet. Would you care to attempt a more dexterous deflection?
No, I like her voice too.
Mayhap we should save this delightful conversation for a more fitting occasion.
I was in a party with Lalafell that had like a bunch of bound emotes, but not one of them was panic, and I had to set them straight. You only need one emote. Actually, you don't need any skills on your bar. Just have your entire bar just be the panic emote.
Space roll panic.
Right, on to more pressing matters. Finding Minfilia and the other missing scions.
I gather you have new information to share with us.
A new approach, actually. Tataru recounted the tale of your escape, and it gave me an idea. Simply put, assuming Thancred left some manner of trail when you whisked him away, as is almost always the case with teleportation magics, I am confident I can find and follow it.
Cool.
Then what are you waiting for?
The wherewithal to do it. The fact is, my abilities aren't quite up to the task. Not in themselves, anyway.
Then let us all call on her forthwith.
With. Which Final Fantasy game are Doga and Une from? Like, there's references to it all over the place. Is that FF3? The reference in 9 too, like the seeing like Une's mirror, Doga's artifact, or something like that. Try hard, edgy, or K-pop girly.
Yeah, there's not much in between.
Trying to think of like what are the Final Fantasy elements that get referenced in a lot of games that I don't catch. I think those are really the two. And I played Final Fantasy 2 exactly once, and 3 80% of the way through. I don't think I actually finished it.
There was an Emperor of Palamecia, and I grinded by sitting in the first zone and using fire over and over again to get fire up.
Because of the way their
That's all I remember.
level up system worked. They're from 3. Gotcha, sir.
be frank, I don't remember a ton from 1 either. We rented 1, if I remember correctly, but we didn't spend a ton of time on it. I didn't ever beat it until the Origins for PlayStation came out.
Yeah, I think that's a better version anyway. 1 is pretty tough to go back to. It hasn't aged very well.
The very thing, I mean, and it's kind of simple, but when an enemy dies and someone was meant to attack it, it transitions to a new target automatically. That makes the game feel so much better in the remakes, as opposed to your attack just failing if the enemy has already been deaded. Right.
Right.
That was always very frustrating.
That's probably the biggest problem with the original release of the game.
The speedrunners actually prefer the Origins for some other reasons related to that. And the fact that there's you remember how when you were on the boat, you could play that little sliding puzzle game, little mini game? I don't know if you guys ever noticed that. But, you know, it's one of those where there's a 4x4 grid of puzzle pieces and one's missing and you can slide them around until you make the picture complete again. Well, anyways, if you do it, you can get like a 1 in 16 chance of a really good item. Usually you just get money, but there's some incentive to do it in the speedrun. But it's super unlikely, so it's kind of like a Hail Mary if you're behind. They'll do races where they beat Final Fantasy 1 in like an hour and a half or something. And if you're behind at that point, you go for the puzzle trick, and it's kind of intense.
Can they manipulate it at all, or is it really 1 in 16?
They're looking into it. Right now the answer is no, but there's some guys that are trying to figure out a way.
Yeah, I'm always impressed with how much they can put into the routing for that. The route step, they call it. It's how they'll literally, from the beginning of the game, they'll start the RNG on a certain seed, and the seed for most Final Fantasy games changes with every tile that you move. And so they'll literally make the exact up, down, left, right, whatever press throughout the entire game to get to the one point in the game 5 hours in where they need the RNG to be a certain value.
That's pretty crazy.
It's always impressive to see.
Yeah, and like they know you can get on rolls where you figure out, for example, when you get attacked by which group of enemies and how much damage they crit you for to figure out if you're on the right sequence.
Yeah,
it's pretty cool.
That's fundamentally how the slots trick works in 6 too, right? Like they know that the RNG becomes a certain value in every battle if you use an echo screen, such that you'll always get the right slots to do an instant death.
That's crazy.
Right. And some other steps to it, but it's kind of fun that they figured that out.
I think that's cool, Chaos Factor. Like you said, Chaos is good at sliding block puzzles. There are certain puzzles that just don't work with my brain, that are the only way I can solve them is to brute force them. Like, I'm really good at ice block puzzles, and I love seeing them in games. But those sliding block ones where you can only push each block like one direction, you have 1 degree of freedom, they destroy me. I just have to sit there and brute force them forever.
Funny, in Uncharted, there's actually there's a puzzle that has a lot of combinations, and you can try a bunch of stuff or you can solve the puzzle. And if you quit out after you've tried a few combinations, Nathan will actually name check. He's like, too many permutations, right? So, I just thought that was kind of funny because
Nice.
That's exactly what was going through my head. I was like, yeah, I could try all these. But
You guys are like Rubik's Cubes, Chaos Factor? I don't have the intuition for Rubik's Cube either. I could sit down and try to figure it out.
yeah, our cousin knows the Rubik's Cube methodology, or at least the simple one.
It's just like an algorithm you have to do, right?
Basically, yeah, it's a set of patterns, and
Getting the top face
simple one to come up with.
Getting the top face is pretty straight. Most people can do one face with a little bit of struggle, but then you have to go down in layers, and getting the second layer is not too bad, and then getting the third layer is just bonkers ridiculous. Because you can't break anything that you've already fixed as you go, right? That's
Yeah.
the problem.
We were just, the last time we got together to eat, Patrick, we were just sitting there and talking because my girlfriend had won a Rubik's Cube at a party and gave it to me to figure out, and I was talking about it. And he just randomly said, hey, in your truck, didn't I leave a 4 or 5-sided Rubik's Cube like 3 years ago? And I never figured it out. And he just went and got it from his car, and over the course of about 20 minutes figured out how to solve it, just having not done it in like 3 years. So there's definitely a fun methodology to it.
Well, the poor sod's not going to find himself.
The Kryl is like She has the Echo too, and she's super good at sensing spirits and shit. Did I follow that correctly?
Thank you, Master Matoya.
Because at this point they have to find external reasons for us to find characters really cool, like the cast of characters that join us, the NPCs.
I think she's basically trying to take Menphelia's role while Menphelia's not here.
Gotcha.
A lot of her abilities.
I like her much better than Minfilia. Not just
I
for
do too.
voice acting,
Yeah.
but... Oh, that's cool, Cloud Reaver. Maybe I just have to practice it.
From the Black Shroud, the trail continues to the north and west, towards a mountain, the foot of Som Al. It was a near thing, but he was not deposited within the rock.
Someone needs to make a game that's just a bunch of ice block puzzles. That would be hell for some people.
What was that game we used to play on like high school computers, Patrick? The ice game?
Icy Tower?
Tower, yeah.
Icy Tower was the shit.
Like ice physics game. Yeah. That was one of those games that was a flash game for apps for flash games.
Tail feather. How long is a turn or like a one of the levels of Midas? Is it as long as Gordius, like 10 minutes?
Yeah. Exactly the same length as Gordius for everything.
Okay, so we can knock out one or two of those if nothing else, if this runs really long.
Sure. Or whatever.
I like that when you finish Gordius, if you go back and visit the location of Alexander, like the pose has changed. He's climbed more out of the water.
Oh, cool.
I'm curious if that's true for when we beat Midas as well. I'm sure it is. Phasing is such a cool, like, game-changing thing, mechanic. I think it was correct that Final Fantasy XIV went with assuming that your character is like the only warrior of light. Not assuming that there's like 10,000 other people doing this shit too.
Yeah, like I think, like we talked about, that's story-wise, that feels better than Guild Wars 2.
Mm-hmm. And there are NPCs that are important, but they're not doing the Traherne thing where you're subservient. You're the lieutenant, and Traherne's making all the decisions.
Yeah.
Apex and I thought we were so clever making new characters in that game. Like, let's do a race class combination that's totally weird. Let's go with like Sylvari Necromancer and Sylvari Engineer, and then like those are the two most important characters in the game.
Yeah.
NPCs. Forest Longboarder. Smoldering Wastes. Oh, I see.
It's just the leaves there.
I feel like the fetch questy, like, do this to get to the next trial thing. I get why they do it. If they want to have a story, they have to present it to you in some way, and I don't know if there's a better way to do it, as kind of annoying as it feels. Maybe, like, try to cut out the crust. There's a lot of... Like, do we really need to go to this destination and interact with it? Like, what does that add to the plot? Could we just keep talking to her more back in the town? think it's true that your MMO story, you want to limit the length of your cutscenes. You don't want to have 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, but the shorter you make them, the less you can convey. So it's been a while. We've been playing Final Fantasy XIV for a year, like almost to the day now. Thancred was an asshole, but now isn't an asshole, right? He was possessed by an Ascian or something.
Cured his asshole.
But how do you pronounce his name? Urianger? He is an asshole, but we don't know anything about him being an asshole. It's just been like previewed to us.
Yeah.
Dramatic irony thing. We as the player know he's an asshole, but our character doesn't know that.
Didn't really have any sinister dialogue though. Like he just kind of he showed up in a cutscene with some people that you didn't know he was supposed to have anything to do with that we know are bad guys.
It's true. You're right.
I don't remember exactly what he said, if anything. I don't think it was anything like "Mwah."
Right. Yeah, I do like that about the Realm Reborn. I mean, I think that stuff was warranted for being as long as it was, and they do definitely give you a heads up.
Hard for me to criticize MMO story because I still haven't seen someone do it better than this game. I know there's a better way to do it, but it's not always clear to me.
I would love to play a Souls MMO that has a story presentation similar to the way the Souls games works, where there's never in your face. Like, you can inspect stuff every now and then, but pretty much you just stumble on shit and wonder what's up with that.
If only the netcode be improved.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
It's
the
a little
one thing.
too
If you've ever
precise.
people get used to it for PvP purposes, but there's always people concerned about phantom ranges of weapons, and
Right.
a lot of times you'll feel an attack, your blood will spurt out from you, but your HP won't go down because your game registered a hit, but his game didn't. So
Right.
you got the feedback, but nothing happened.
Who said this is going to take 15 minutes? Not joking. This duty I'm in, I've been skipping the cutscenes. I had to do it twice because it's stupid, but even with skipping the cutscenes and like just clicking through the dialogue, this alone has taken more than 15 minutes.
Yeah.
For all I know, they could be talking about sausage pizza. That's how little I've been paying attention.
Serp, what is your opinion on Dark Souls 3 PvP if you're playing it?
Oh, he was doing that all last night.
Oh, see, to me it is Gank Squad Central in this game for whatever reason, but I feel like I actually enjoy that type of PvP more. No, it's also very, very unfair. But, I'm not sure you guys care about a 15-minute argument on that, but
Oh, I'm excited
basically,
I actually enjoyed it. I'm not a PvP person at all. I'm very PvE, and I actually had fun with PvP in Dark Souls 1.
yeah. No, I mean, if they've made it very easy to summon help in the game, and generally, as a new player, sometimes you summon help to get through an area, but some people do it to make gank squads for invaders. So, as an invader, you know, you're a red, you're going to go kill the host by invading them. Okay, you expect one-on-one. Maybe if they get lucky, they're part of a covenant that auto-summons another dude to help them out when you invade. Okay, maybe two-on-one. But what happens is people will knowingly get in an invade-heavy area and then summon like 3 different pieces of help and to sit there waiting for a single invader to come, and then they 3-on-1 him as soon as he jumps in.
What?
That's the gank squad in action. But to me it's fun because usually people that summon that many aren't that good at the game, and it's a lot of fun picking off 3 people one by one.
Who the shit are these
with my
people?
mediocre skills.
And why are they fighting Ravana?
Oh, I see where you're at.
Is this the guy that was the stand-in Warrior of Light? Like, if they needed to refer to someone as the Warrior of Light in press material outside of the game?
Remember, he was on the moon at the very, very last cutscene.
Warriors of Darkness? Just casually take out Ravana in one hit. Okay. Guess we imagined that they were in the duty and there was sweet music playing. And Black Mage fell off the edge. There's 5 of you. That doesn't make sense. Can't queue into a duty with 5 people. I do. He's the Warrior of Darkness. They are the Warriors of Darkness. Maybe.
This day, we reclaim the reins of history. This day, we rid ourselves of the Asians forever.
I recognize that voice actor. Get placed.
Fools playing at heroes, all of you. Is this how you believe you can save your world?
Are we sure this guy wasn't also in, like, the early 2.0 cutscenes and stuff? I feel like I've seen this particular dude, the warrior guy, before.
Yeah, I think he's in like the Heavensward intro too. He is the standing guy you recognized for the player character.
Mm-hmm. And he's the guy that, like, when Realm Reborn first launched and they did that whole cutscene about, like, waking up after the meteor crashes. I thought he was that guy.
The savior of Eorzea. It's a wonder you didn't come sooner, what with the primal and all. Lost a step, have we?
Have care. The ether moves
Yeah, he's
strangely
the
around him.
guy who doesn't have
It would
an
seem we
effeminate
share a common
mustache, but
enemy.
seems like he should.
Perhaps you will tell us who you are. Shall we show them?
Yeah, I thought he was in 1.0 as well. I've been on a 1.0 tick after hearing all that sweet Uematsu music. I saw, like, when they did the server shutdown event for when they were turning the game off to get it ready for Realm Reborn, they, like, just had Meteor in the air, they removed all the BGM in the game and replaced it with, like, this really distorted version of Answers with this, like, rumbling sound in the background. It's super creepy.
Yeah.
They've never actually
Ominous.
released that version, I guess. You just have to find it on YouTube of people who recorded it when it happened.
I'm glad people did.
Because I wouldn't have played the game just for that, but it seems like a nice payoff if you were putting up with the game that early.
And all that lore still matters too. Like, they could have very easily just said, okay, we asked for you guys to hold on to a subscription for a long time and to hold on for over a year. Now we're going to make everything you went through story-wise irrelevant. Could have done that.
Exactly. They put the effort into it. Hey, he's got a new haircut. Look how cool he's looking.
Speaking of edgy.
Yeah. Serpent, I wonder if it's kind of like the new haircut for one of the characters in Bravely Second. I was like, oh god, got that Shylock thing going on. I'm guessing that they don't have the character do anything because, like, you could have a different weapon. So if they animate everything, I guess they could go through and do everything for each class, but the animators let you have an axe and you're a scholar running in beating people over the head with your book.
Yeah, I always menacingly open my book and point at it. It still doesn't really translate.
Oh, it wasn't before the fall? Okay.
Not very sporting of you to interrupt. But so be it.
And an eye patch.
Mark well our faces, warrior of light. For we are the warriors of darkness. Walkers of a different path. And we shall meet again.
They wear black clothes.
The Cortana Paladin sword. I hated the model for that.
Warriors of Darkness. Really?
Kryl. Really? Edgier haircut.
Are you all right?
Well, he realized he was learning the powers of a rogue, and he knew that one day he'd have to go full tryhard, but waited a while.
Pleasantries can wait. I'd rather not be here when the Nath arrive. Agreed?
I think Uncertain Future is the one that we need to do, and that's 2 quests after this one with the Warriors of Darkness. It's probably the duty that Matt is in.
Whoa.
I finished the duty. Now I'm doing more fetch quests. Go to Limsa Lominsa to watch his cutscenes, so then you can fast travel to Mordona. What rewarding gameplay.
I was reading an article about. Actually, I think I linked the guy here before, Film Crit Hulk. There's a neat movie reviewer talking about how he doesn't like what's his name, Inaritu behind Revenant. And long story short, one of his points was that Inaritu is, among other things, bad about not realizing when you can just kind of achieve the same emotional effect by not having us go through A to B to C to D with Leonardo DiCaprio's character as he struggles. Do some quick editing over 5 minutes and achieve the same emotional result. And I feel like MMO storylines could probably learn from the same lesson. You don't actually have to do A to B to C to D to accomplish what the story needs, right?
Right.
If nothing else, you
Yeah, we only have to go up through a mission called As Goes Light, So Goes Darkness, then we can stop. God.
Eventually, I managed to fashion knives from some obsidian I found, and set about hunting for meat and honey.
Bam!
Covering his nudity with a squirrel.
I'm not all that skilled in leatherworking. It's probably for the best that I met the Vath before I was reunited with you.
So you were the fleshling clothed in skins of whom the story.
My show we have to do little slow, a little late, Dreams of the Lost, and then it's against the Dying of the Light after that.
A description which fit me as ill as the skins themselves. Happily, I was able to trade with the Vath for garments better becoming a man of refinement. From
Let me drop off this earring for you, Patrick. Where you at?
Oh, I'm
And then when do we get the trial?
better.
And thence did you conclude
Trial is available as soon as we finish the quest called
it would surely be
As Goes Light, So
the
Goes Darkness.
silence once more.
But is it off the main story quest, or is it just the side quest that pops up?
It's a side quest that becomes available once you finish that one. It's in the Rising Stones or whatever in Mordona. You might actually be further along the main story than is necessary.
Ah, yes. The
I'll keep
self-proclaimed
clicking through
warriors of
bullshit just to get it
darkness.
done.
'Tis only fitting that they stand in opposition to the
I think
warrior of
the
light,
goal was to get through
I suppose.
3.1 story, and there's like a story up to 3.4, 5, I think now. So you may have, like, you may be clicking a while.
An Asian.
Actually, Against the Dying of the Light is a Dylan Thomas, a Welsh poet reference. I only know it because of his name. Rage Against the Dying of the Light.
Heavily featured in Interstellar.
Yeah, I was like, oh, I know that one. That's the one that I know. There are a lot of Gurm references in this game, too. I name drop Boiled Leather, Must Needs.
Where do we get the side quest?
It's in the Rising Stones and it's the bar. Remember, we went to talk to the NPC there and she didn't have the right quest. I'll look up the name of it real quick. Quest is called When the Bow Wakes, excuse me. He did. Koji Fox is a fan. There's a bunch of fate names that are like, I think you fight like a, they refer to something as the mountain that rides. The 3.2 story doesn't terminate in anything right now, right? It just is there to be there. It'll probably be necessary next time they add new content, I'm sure.
Heading to Foundation. Early. So.
Oh, there's a dungeon? Really? Okay. So like I-180 or something?
Thanks a ton.
We're starting to just fight Ravana out there in the middle of the field. He just popped. It was a fate, no big deal. I think there's an I-180 requirement to get in.
Even as the Scions celebrated the return of a long-lost friend, honorable men plotted to deprive them of another.
Cool, yeah. We want to do all the unique content once. Zell-looking motherfucker over here.
Honorable men, to whom Sir Emmerich was no hero, but a scheming patricide.
Didn't really get the sense that...
Honorable men who would fain wash the paving stones of Foundation with the tyrant's blood.
Hey, that's a bummer.
Honorable men whose knife in the dark was the spark which set the city aflame, and who sang as it burned.
For the watch. This is definitely one of those you really have to recognize that the mechanics of the game are an abstraction. Like, the level 52 brown bear in Tail Feather or whatever is not actually level 52, like it wouldn't be able to kill Ifrit in one hit. It's just a convenience thing that they had to make it level 52 so it would be challenging. Similarly, this dude who has survived all of these crazy cutscenes with really scary enemies can get stabbed in the stomach with a steak knife. That's been a problem in World of Warcraft for a while, like the constantly escalating threat. You think they're ever going to do it with Sargatanas, I think it is? I don't remember my Warcraft lore. Is he like the evil Titan god that they'll eventually have to fight, and then what are they going to do after that?
Oh, well, I don't know.
I know that...
Can bring back some old god stuff.
That's true, yeah. I feel like they managed to, like, they were escalating, then they did Pandaria, which was like a panda island, and they're trying to do the escalating thing again. What's that building? Is that the Forgotten Knight?
It's right near the main.
Alright.
Just west, east.
Faster, just run there. Sargeras, that's it. Sargatanas is like an actual real-world demon, I think. Oh, they end up going with old gods in Pandaria? Oh, cool. I thought that they were like scaling back the threat escalation.
Yeah, just elder panda gods. God, stop out with a cool raid hat.
Get them to sneeze. I like her design too. Hilda. I suppose that's true, yeah, the Titans are a cosmic threat if they ever decide to do that. I feel like they can't ever do a Sargeras expansion because they'd have, unless if that's like the last one that they're gonna do. It feels like 14 could go on indefinitely, just basically by having all the primals be comparably powered. It doesn't feel like they have to be escalating all the time. And they still have a pretty nice backlog. The next expansion's gonna be subtitled Quetzalcoatl. Yeah, Universe Satan.
I think the last boss of Final Fantasy XIV is Quina.
If they ever reference,
It would be in
someone.
Hildebrand. The Queen of Fight in Hildebrand could be funny. Like, she eats your party members and learns your abilities. I'm still holding out for a Phantom Train Hildebrand quest.
My least favorite blue mage in this series, I think.
Queena, yeah.
I didn't even know they added that to Steam the other day. It's like $20 though.
Yeah.
They added
It's still
the
on
fast
10,
forward
10
feature, which is
remastered.
nice.
What are
It's
they
also
missing
like
on
20
Steam
something
now?
bucks.
10.2 came out like 2 days ago.
So
So
they need to do
On
12.
Steam, right?
Yeah, 10 and 10
10
2.
and 10.2
Is
HD
10 on
remastered
there?
on Steam.
Mm-hmm.
You can play the Dark Aeons on Steam now.
Yep. And they
It's
added
weird.
a battle fast forward feature, like you have in Bravely Default, and I think that they added an encounter rate manipulator too, like Bravely Default.
Did they add a you don't have to do the stupid chocobo race to 0 seconds
Oh
to
my
get
god.
Tidus's ultimate weapon thing?
I don't think so. Worst RNG. Ugh. I think I tried that once on stream and I opted out of it. When Andrea
It's
was
weird.
playing it, she had me do it, and I was grinding at it for like 3 hours before I finally got it.
It's so odd to me that these things are popping up on Steam. I was 7, 8 years ago under no hopes that we would ever see international versions of anything be released. I was getting undubbed torrents and trying to get patches for emulators and making it work at like 28 FPS for weird shit. And all I had to do was wait 8 years and Steam would have caught up. Could have played everything.
Yeah. Did
I
you
think
guys see the dude that was on world record pace for a Nemesis run in Final Fantasy X?
No.
And then-
Very cool.
Yeah, so it's the Seraph
Wow.
guy on Twitch. He's pretty cool. But you know, Nemesis is the last thing in the battles arena, so you got to trick out your party to be bonkers. Full spear grid.
Insane.
It's like a 24-hour speed run.
Yeah.
And he had grabbed a no encounters weapon. Like if it just drops off a certain enemies, you got it. So it made him incredibly fast for the rest of the game. He just didn't have to fight any random battles. So he was like 45 minutes under the world record.
Wow.
He was going to beat it crazy. And he had beat Nemesis, so he had this ridiculous party of Titus Waka and Yuna or somebody. And he was in the very last, like literally 20 minutes from the end of the game, where you have to dodge those crystal spikes.
Oh my
And
god.
if you don't, you'll get hit. You'll have to have a random battle. And he fought a Marlboro that got first strike on him.
Oh no.
Oh, God.
Yeah, bad rep his whole party, and they proceeded to wipe the floor with each other.
Oh my god.
Because in that game, poison takes off a quarter of your hit points. It's really nasty. And typically you prevent that by equipping a first strike item, but he didn't have to because he had no encounters. So it was the only place he could have lost, and he was 20 minutes from the end.
Only thing that could have
45.
possibly killed him. Wow.
Yeah. And he was super cool about it. He sat there like, wow, that's a bummer. That really hurts, but he didn't rage and break anything,
Yeah.
What a shame.
Is it just like it was? Do people usually not get that no encounters weapon so early? They drop in the Omega Ruins, right?
Yeah, and he just happened. You don't farm for it because it takes too long. So he just
Yeah.
happened to get one, and was really catching through fast because of it.
I've noticed that the really quick speedrunners, the ones that run the games that are 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour, get a lot saltier when they lose than the ones that are doing these 20-hour RPGs or 4 or 5 hour RPGs.
I think that makes perfect sense, though, right? If they are going into it knowing that they're investing that much time, they're probably a
Yeah.
chiller personality most of the time, I would expect.
It must be the way you deal with it, yeah. Absolutely.
Where's Broom? That the one you're on?
Yeah. Why is that red? I'm looking. Thought the broom was a little alleyway, maybe. Yeah, I see him. Frey.
You gotta go down to the bottom.
Yeah, I just got to him. The red thing is Dark Knight. We're fine. Yeah, one more after this one, and then we can go do the trial. The 3.2 story, I might just record myself watching it offline and then like append it to whenever we have to do 3.2 content. If you guys wanted to do that offline sometime without getting up at 10 in the morning to run through these.
I already unlocked the anti-tower now, so...
Oh, you're already at the end of 3.2? Okay, well I'll take care of that, or I'll like start streaming 45 minutes early or something to do it. This has been a problem all throughout the Final Fantasy XIV playthrough, though, of sheep shearing, Titan fight, sheep shearing, Garuda fight, so on. Oh, what's the time on Bravely Default? I've got my hard stop for Game of Thrones. Maybe I'll watch the VOD. Dragon Gate 100% is almost a day. Yeah, that game is pretty crazy. Andrew just beat it recently.
Dragon Age.
So, like, in summary, Thancred is back and he's got an edgy haircut. And Kryl is a pretty cool character and she's dressed like she was in Final Fantasy V. And the Warriors of Darkness are assholes. Am I missing anything really important from the 3.1 story other than those 3 bullet points?
Yeah. As far as I remember. Sure
No,
you know who these guys are.
Assholes are not ass men. We haven't seen the ass men in a while. Asians. Thancred can't use ether anymore. He's just a regular cool ninja guy.
With squirrel buddies.
Oh yeah, Commander guy got shanked. Did he die from that, Emmerich?
No, I'd say he'd be okay.
Okay.
Too many to count.
Oh, there he is. Never mind, he's fine.
Lord Commander, your wounds.
Angelo from Dragon Quest VIII.
Are healing well.
And what's his nuts from Alvin, Xenoblade Chronicles.
Time is of the essence. Lest we forget, these men would sooner put their own city to the torch than see it change. When our enemies learn that we have apprehended their arsonist, there is no telling how they will react. Lord Commander, an armed mob has seized control of the vault. And now we know. Tell us what happened, sir.
Playing the market board. I get why there are 10 different people with a bunch of consonants for names behind the Yeti stat. I don't get why one person named Ace Seahawk bought 10 different versions of the Yeti stat for himself.
Have you do you get on the Matoya market board at all? I've done that a little bit. Matoya's Cave sells a bunch of like level 59 crafting items that nobody knows that they're in there because there's not like a aetherite crystal that goes there.
Yes, I only buy 3 from her: the coal knife, the adamantite sledge, and the adamantite scythe.
Mm-hmm.
But those 2 get really good return. Those 3 get really good returns when they sell.
Whenever I buy anything that costs more than like 10,000 gil, I just look it up on the wiki real quick to make sure there's not a vendor that sells it. Desynth maybe, yeah. Desynth sucks. It's everything that's like... It lets you see how great the actual crafting system in this game is, because Desynth is pretty comparable to like a standard MMO's crafting system.
At once, Lord Commander.
My keyboard has like macros. I just wrote a macro that lets me desynth all my fish. I just run it while I'm redditing.
I shall lead the assault on the vault.
Assault on the vault?
Of course.
We are in your debt.
I shall join you as well, Lord Commander.
Your assistance is most welcome, Lord Atwarel.
Alright, so I think this, I'm gonna guess this is the duty.
Brown, and does it smell funny?
If you're
When
Andrea's
you do the duty and you get to a point where you're in a ring and Hot Pocket, whatever brother guy, is fighting some dude and you can't click on anyone, it's because they want you to go somewhere else and do something else. Which wasn't immediately obvious to me, because to me, I see a fight going on and I figure I should be part of this fight.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Thanks for the tip. Are you gonna go Paladin for the trial, Flarewing?
Oh yeah, I will. Doesn't particularly matter.
Are you already done with the duty?
Oh right, it's gonna kick us, isn't it? Just disband and put it back together.
Yeah, that's why I left.
Wasn't sure
tomorrow
this
ago.
one was actually a duty or not. I know from the that they did it at PAX East that you can, there's a ledge you can fall off in this one, right? That's probably the only thing we should be wary of.
There's stuff, I've done it once and I definitely fell off the first time too, so I don't have much expertise to give here.
Turn that on. So I haven't done any X fights. The X fights aren't set up to be quite as bleeding edge as like Savage Midas or Savage Coil, right? They're pretty doable without needing to like use consumable potions and shit like that.
Oh yeah, no potions. Any gear you have above the minimum will definitely help though. It's easily hard. I mean, when an X trial comes out, it is what anybody just coming from a storyline type quest would call hard content.
Okay. But it's
not Savage.
It's doable with like the gear, like the minimum required gear.
Yeah.
Okay. That's the thing that I want to. I don't want to do any content where like we're going to lose because of math.
No, it'll be mechanics heavy, but it'll be taxing for somebody who's never done any mechanics outside the storyline.
Sure.
Down with you!
Depending on the particular fight, of course. It does vary a bit.
I guess as a tank, you probably have to be wary of
That's true. I'm
swap
speaking a little bit
mechanics.
of tank. Yeah, tanks have a little bit more of a curve. If you just walked into Garda X out of just doing the storyline right when it launched, you're going to have a tough time if you didn't know the exact strat going on. You weren't very comfortable with exact positioning and worrying about where everybody else in the party is. Nowadays you can gear through it, skip phases and all, but
Oh yeah, I'd like to do it. I heard a bit of the music from Coil when I was looking through the soundtracks, and it makes me really want to play it more. I see what you mean about this duty. Would probably benefit from some checkpoints. Everything benefits from checkpoints, though.
You underestimate me.
I don't know, we were talking about it earlier, Dark Start. Our intention is still to not remove the challenge for ourselves if that's at all a possibility, I think.
Yeah. I guess we can't queue then, though. We have to find people
we'd
in
have to
Party
wait.
Finder, right?
So we'll probably try to remove... No, I guess we'll try to do it without having us sit on stream doing nothing for 4 hours.
Yeah. Oh, and the plan wouldn't be to do all of it in one go. It would be to break it up. I really like that about the raids in Final Fantasy XIV. I wish like more MMOs would take from that idea of like basically, you know, Nex Ramos is 12 interesting fights. Why don't we make 12 mini dungeons that are just those fights with no trash?
Yeah.
Because it was always the problem of, you know, if you end up wiping on a fight a whole bunch of times, you can't just quit out of the dungeon if you got to go do something.
Right.
Okay, this supposed to be the part that...
Tier 9 is not going to be easy no matter what you do, just because of the mechanics. But for instance, healers probably have a ton easier time on just about any content, even Tier 9 though. For virtue of the fact that DPS isn't something they have to worry about nearly as much.
Thank you for the tip, Matt. I totally would not have known to go do this. I guess they tell you, like, go help him, but...
Well, but then they also scream at you that, oh, he needs help in this fight.
Yeah, right? But I would have stood there and seen what was going on there and not made it here in time. Just me and my own.
Missed much spiky, just story mode
Yeah,
so far.
it's just story. We're probably just going to do the trial. Maybe, hopefully finish the trial. Next time we do story, I'll try to record it offline and append it to the file, so we're not doing this live.
Hate being told a narrative.
Kinslayer. Yeah, that's been the case in general in Heavensward. Usually unlocking stuff is talk to a guy, go to the entrance, there you go. Just the main story stuff is always trading bare asses all the time. Oh, it's a cool
Definitely.
technique. I like the recurring motifs in a soundtrack. You get like FF9, I forget the name of the main theme of FF9, but it's in like so many different songs there.
Melodies of Life.
That sounds right. Actually, the basic like chord progression of that song is really similar to Answers. It says there's one more bonds I have to undo. I have no idea where they are though. Oh wait, I guess I got 2 there. So Emmerich needs our help for realsies. Wait. Oh wait, that's a refugee. Okay. Is NPC like following me? God, I hope not. Aha! Holy shit, he's not looking good. This would probably be the shittiest as a tank, because if you're a healer, you can heal Emmerich, and if you're a tank, you can pull everything. Or as DPS, I mean.
This knight does not yield.
I can rip everything off of him. Kind of, I guess he's got a shit ton of aggro. Should kill these ads as soon as possible. Well, I think that in the case of like Metal Gear Solid, the game being a playable movie is like something that's at back of the. You go into Metal Gear Solid expecting that, and it's been that way since the very first game. But I don't think MMOs having so much like fetch quests to me aren't the same as long, goofy cutscenes and codec calls. You can't even like tune them out, you know. Skipping them isn't an option like it is in MGS. You can skip all the cutscenes and all the codec calls in Metal Gear Solid, and 30-hour game becomes a 2-hour game. Like you still have to physically run to deliver the bare asses or whatever in Final Fantasy XIV, and it's such different content from like the dungeons and the trials that it unlocks. It's almost weird that they're coupled in the first place.
No, don't you remember when Snake had to go shear sheep?
Harvest honey. I guess the difference is Metal Gear Solid feels long-winded, and some of the like fetch quests in 14 or like the stupid side quests in Bravely Second just feel irrelevant. I don't know. I would significantly pare down the quest base. Like if there's a story that they want to get across, they can communicate it in much fewer words and much fewer scenes. Things where you have to like go and kill 2. There was a quest we had to do a couple minutes ago where we had to kill 2 Nath steel drones or something. Like who cares? That isn't relevant to the story. The cool cutscene with Ravana and the Warriors of the Dark, yeah, all day. Let's look at that. This duty is actually pretty cool too. It just feels like it's about 4 times longer than it really needs to be. And it makes it dilutes the story because then you don't know when to pay attention. Like, if 80% of the time you're shearing sheep and delivering honey, you know, you might start skipping the cutscenes and miss out on the cool thing with the Warriors of Darkness and Thancred being a badass ninja and Kryl showing up and all that stuff.
The blasphemer who throws wide the gates to our enemy, who breaks bread with him and calls him brother. Is it godly to spill the blood of an innocent child? To burn the homes of your brothers? Tell me, priest, is that godly?
Yes.
Do not speak to me of godliness, heathen. Your father's blood is on your hands, as is hers.
Wow. Facial animation of this guy is impressive. Whoa. Jamie Lannister. Yeah, no, I think I hear you. Got me. That actually results in a different kind of problem. You have the games that always feel like they have to start with this really exciting thing, and there can't ever be like breaks to tell a story. A game like Pillars of Eternity wouldn't work in that, because Pillars of Eternity is all about immersion and long dialogue and story, 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 small bit of mechanics, story, 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 and so on. It doesn't feel like the story in Pillars is meandering, if that makes sense. It's a Dargon. Did you clear the duty, Apex?
Yeah, I'm in the same cutscene you are now.
Okay, perfect.
Well met, knight. Mayhap I chose an inopportune moment.
I'm pretty sure that girl would still be dead, by the way.
Not at all.
Yeah, how do physics work with that?
Pointy and hard.
Fortune delivered the child unto me. I had but to receive her.
Thank you for saving me.
Thou art welcome, child.
Yeah, I kind of just want to skip that step because it's, from a gameplay perspective, it's fetching, right? And not like fetching or like Gretchen fetch. Going and getting something and bringing it back and delivering it, playing FedEx postman.
Never did I think to be indebted to so unexpected a savior. But full glad am I to be so.
Well, and it's like in Fallout 4, there's this on PC. It's been out for a while, but they just got put on Xbox One. They made the survival difficulty. They completely reworked it. It used to just be, enemies had a shit ton more health and blah blah blah. Now it's much more like, if you shoot something in the head, it dies, but if you get shot in the head, you die, right? Like everything's much more brutal. And it sounds like a lot of fun, but the issue is there's no fast travel. Which sometimes, people are like, oh yeah, I play Skyrim and I never fast travel. It lets you get lost in the game. But in Fallout 4 especially, the game is very much designed around the fact that you can fast travel. It's like, go here. Okay, now go all the way across the map for this part of the quest. Now go all the way back across the map for the same quest. And people are like, well, you can do other quests along the way. And it's like, yeah, but sometimes I want to finish the quest I'm doing.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to have to teleport 3 times to do it. It's like unlocking the anti-tower, they make you go to Limsa Lominsa to talk to one person, then to go back to Mordona to talk to that same person. Why?
Y'all need email.
Yeah. I think you guys are right. It's not just a streaming thing, though. I think it's I want to play this game with other people problem. And I actually had this conversation with somebody that I wasn't a duty finder with last night. That they're playing with 2 other friends and they're not streaming it, but they can only get on at the same time every so often. And it's a bummer if everybody has to basically go and do this by themselves while they're online together. Maybe they can pop in Discord and talk to each other while it's going on like we're doing. But what if they just want to get online and do, like, say they're doing the main story and they want to do Ifrit, Titan, and Garuda. Like, they should be able to do that and then look at the cutscenes offline. And I guess you could say, well, they could just skip all the cutscenes and look at them in the inn later. But I felt like even that was sort of a bummer during the Ultima dungeon. That's such a cool dungeon, and I've run it a couple times in the Duty Finder since then, and everybody just blitzes through it. Like, if you aren't skipping every cutscene and sprinting the whole time, you will miss battles because of how quickly people run through that thing.
Lord Edmund.
So the fact that there's so much, even if you skip all the cutscenes, you're looking at, 20, 30 minutes to get between interesting pieces of actual group content. If they can ever find a way to make cutscenes work in a party, maybe that would be interesting. But you're splitting your 3 or 4 people up into 4 different single instances.
This is kind of why my girlfriend thinks I don't have good taste in movies. honestly. It's the same problem to me. It's I can't take her to movies that are like super artsy and stuff that only I would be interested in, because I know she's not interested in it, and I would be worried about, oh, is she going to enjoy this super dialogue? Is she in a mood to have this kind of a pace going? And so I only ask her to go to like Marvel Civil War or Batman, and she doesn't want to see those either. But because I suggest those, that's what she thinks my interest in movies is. It's just the popular blockbuster.
Right.
And I'm like, well. So anyway, that relates to this just by the fact of, like, how do you enjoy a quality storyline trying to do group content, right?
Yeah.
Like, how can I sit here and focus on Cody Fox's very nice dialogue when that's not what I'm trying to do right now? I'm trying to quest.
Right.
I'm trying to,
that's exactly the problem, and I think that's where the D&D comparison fails, because yeah, D&D has context and it's fun, but the context leading up to the dungeon is cooperative. Your whole party gets to participate in the conversation, everybody can talk to the DM or the NPCs, you can riff off each other, but this is basically taking what's supposed to be a multiplayer experience and splitting it into 4 like parallel single-player experiences. And you could say, well, you know, just make sure you do all the questing stuff on your own before you get together to play and do the actual multiplayer content. But that only works to a point. Like, you can prepare, in the earlier example, you can do all the cutscenes up to Ifrit, but if you want to do Titan right after with that same group, now everyone has to get in this like parallel single-player regime. I think it's just kind of an issue with 14 in general, that there's not a lot of thought in the main story quest to what about people who are trying to play this as a group. It kind of assumes that you're progressing through the game by yourself, and then whenever you get to group content, you're duty findering with randos, which works really well. It's cool that that's even available, because there have been MMOs in the past, like early WoW, you pretty much had to go out and manually find people to run stuff with you. There was no duty finder equivalent.
Fit for a true knight. An expression of our gratitude to you and yours.
I'm trying to think if maybe there's a manga or a comic comparison here. But this really is a WoW thing too, isn't it? It's just how MMOs work.
Yeah. It might be that there's not a solution. It would be nice to divorce it a little bit more, like make it so that you can run the content without having done the story. Maybe there's a penalty for doing that, or there's a bonus for doing the story too. Because I want to see the story; it's cool. I just don't know how you do it.
To be fair, it's actually something that Final Fantasy is a little worse about compared to, say, WoW, where there are not lots of cutscenes in WoW. Everything is done in world, and you can kind of just stumble upon someone having a conversation with an NPC, but it's not a cutscene, you know.
Right.
So there's more depth involved if you do it this way, you know. But it is, I think maybe this is a unique Final Fantasy MMO problem because of the way they're telling a story.
I agree. No, you're right, because you pretty much, there's no like big long quest to get into Naxxramas. You just go into Naxxramas and then you figure out the story because the bosses are talking to you and stuff during it, right? Like the gameplay never breaks out and says, "All right, let's explain who Patchwork is." You just fight Patchwork and you try to figure out what's going on related to it.
Tommy has just said my thesis for pretty much everything that I try to judge in life. Like, I really honestly think that if you read an incredibly eloquent review of one movie from one guy versus one from another guy, how much they walked into the movie not rolling their eyes at it had more to do with that than anything objective they're talking about. You have to be open to wanting to like something in order to have even a chance of liking it. Sometimes that means you paper over some faults with your own benevolence. I think more often than not, you enjoy things more that way.
Yeah, here. I agree completely. It's something that you have to deal with, for example, with physicists and science movies. A lot of physicists get their rocks off by pointing out shitty physics problems in movies, and it prevents them from enjoying the art of the movie. On the other hand, they also enjoy nitpicking like that. So, I mean,
that's fun for them.
It's how you interpret the media. You know, I would argue that one of those is correct and one of those is less correct, but it's not strictly wrong, you know.
Yeah, the way you
are missing out on a lot of stuff if you do come in with those kind of preconceptions.
And you let yourself you force yourself to not be immersed in it, right?
Plot hole warriors is what I call them, right? It's very easy to find a plot hole in just about anything. but
Albeit
not always the point.
Sometimes you just need to accept the buy. Like, okay, in this movie there's time travel, and it doesn't make perfect sense, but that doesn't matter. That's not what the story's about.
Yeah. Criticize it till the end of time, please, if it's improperly executed or something. But if it's just making the same kind of assumption that your favorite movie did when you were a kid, but you're giving it a pass to the one as a kid because of nostalgia, and you're not to this one because it's not nostalgic, then that's not very fair to the current movie. Star Wars does a lot of things you have to make assumptions on, and people love it to death, but they criticize current movies for the same thing Star Wars did.
Yeah, Star Wars, you have to just accept the buy. Just let it go. Just enjoy the movie. It's fun. Actually, we were talking about The Martian in Discord recently, and about how like pretty much everything in that movie is spot on, except for like the circumstances that get Matt Damon stranded on Mars are completely ridiculous and made up and not realistic at all. But it's like necessary for the movie to have a plot. Like he needs to be stranded, and his crewmates need to think that he's dead and didn't abandon him because they're stupid or incompetent, because the movie's about them being very competent. So like just accept that buy that there is this big storm on Mars, even though that wouldn't happen in the real world, and don't lose your shit over it. I think it's a point of maturity.
Why wouldn't there be storms on Mars?
The atmosphere isn't thick enough.
Apparently not. It's an interesting question, really, from a perspective like that.
Thank you guys for not spoiling about Oriander being an asshole. Still up to no good.
Wait, whose shoes were those?
Alright, so I think it's Mordona, Rising Stones, When the Bow Wakes, and then we get one shot at this. Not
Yeah, guys, remember, this is going to be done in 15 minutes.
15 minutes, then 30, then 60. Like I said, someone's got to do How Long to Beat Final Fantasy XIV.
Well, we've done it. It's 1 year.
Right. I guess if I really wanted to be crazy, He10 did some timestamping for like the Realm Reborn, so I could go back and look at the timestamps and try to put a post on Final Fantasy XIV. Like, here's how much time you should expect to do, moving at a fairly brisk pace to get from content piece to content piece.
So when did you guys have any sense of when they announced Heavensward? Like, how long before it came out was it announced? Like, with the release, some images, some thoughts about the new classes, the promotional launch. Not necessarily saying there might be one in the future, because we know there's going to be another one.
Azisla. Alright, all this has been for fighting the Warring Triad. That
Worth it.
FF6 hype.
Totally worth it.
If you guys want to, whenever you get time before the next time we play, just do the 3.2 story. Like I said, I'll just record it locally and append it. We can probably do that from now on if there's like future patches or the next expansion.
Well, shoot me an email or something when you're gonna do it, because I'd prefer doing it with other people, just for sanity's sake.
Yeah, well, that might actually be fun. It could be cool if we were just doing it offline and giving commentary and going through it slowly and not being like, we gotta get to this trial before the 2 hours are up kind of situation. Easier to be immersed in it. There they are. So Realm Reborn went to 2.55 is when they did Heavensward and switched over, is that right? And are we on 3.2 now, or are we on 3.3?
Forget.
I mean, we're not going to skip the dungeon. We would do all of the fetch questing up to the dungeon. Like, none of this stuff that we just did had to be live on stream. That could all be appended to a YouTube video.
Yeah, so we're on 3.2. I guess if I had to guess, then we'll get to 3.4 or 5 before they are done and ready for a new expansion.
It sounds like they're doing stuff with the Garleans again, like going to the Allegan Empire.
I had assumed that's what they were going based off of story cues. And I'm fine with that. I enjoy politics, even if it's within dry dialogue. I'll watch the most boring shit if it's politically oriented, so.
Did you play the remake of Tactics? Final Fantasy Tactics?
Did they change anything?
Oh, the translation is so much better. It's on iOS and PSP. Highly recommend it.
And on Android now.
Android too? Yeah.
Yeah, I have it on my phone. I played the first couple missions, but I haven't slogged through. I'm up to the one, like, 3 or 4 missions in where they throw a bunch of archers at you, and you could have some, but you don't really at that point, so you have to deal with all that shit, and I was like,
Yeah, I'll turn up the music, don't worry. It's one of the main things drawing me. I'm curious to see what they do with this, since it's FF6 material.
I think your guy has his glasses on sideways.
I love his new hat. So I guess they're naming it Sephiroth, right? Not Sephiroth. Yeah. But I think that this corresponds to Fiend in FF6, is that right? There's
Fiend.
Fiend, Goddess, and what was the third one?
Poltergeist.
Poltergeist.
Also known as something else. More mundane in the FF6 advance.
Steve.
Get what?
Shit, Steve.
Feels like it. Poltergeist, such a cool name. I guess it's a German word, right?
Yeah.
It was called Doom.
Oh, that's what it is, Doom.
Yeah, I think Sephiroth is the name comes from like the Kabbalah word for demon or something.
It's like the tree.
The tree of Sephiroth.
Tree of life. You guys ready to queue in?
Sure.
Let's do it.
There you go.
Make sure I'm not also like queuing us for Halatali or something. I've done that before. There we go. Come on, second healer. There we go.
Three minutes.
Got this.
I can go a little bit over. Technically, my thing's at 1:30 my time. Cool. Darkstar sniped.
Disabling Sephiroth's
That-
restraints now. Good luck.
Oh, it's cranked. Oh,
Whoa.
awesome. I'm glad they brought that music back. I like when Soken does classic FF tunes. Awesome. Points to a party member, get behind it.
Any party member, everybody get behind him. Except for that party.
Okay. Multiple tanks.
I'll try to main take him.
Okay, sounds good.
If I fall off, it's up to you.
Selva's Darkstar. Is there an off tank in this fight?
There are things to tank.
Okay.
Try not to suck.
I'm glad that this is just the song from FF6. That's really exciting. I thought maybe they'd just do the opening and then change it. Don't fall off the stage either. Okay, big arrow on Thaumat Thug, which everybody's stacked up for. Okay, I guess it's one of those split damage when you see somebody have that.
Ow.
This would be super cool to do at PAX.
Yeah, I agree. Don't stand next to each other, probably. Yeah, it appears to be the case. Okay. So there's a stack mechanic and a runaway mechanic. Get behind him. Get behind him. That must be the knockback. Knock you off the stage. Yeah, I don't know if they'll have this one again at PAX Prime, but this would be a cool one. Maybe they'll do... I'm guessing they're going to do the rest of the Warring Triad. Stack up on Matt. A little butt slam. And they brought back the original FF6 boss theme. Or that's just the regular battle theme.
Yeah.
That's awesome. FF6's boss theme is probably my favorite in the series, if we get that too. Don't stand next to each other. Nice. Get behind him.
Focus, go.
Thank you for the follow. Welcome, DJ. Stack up on me. Got him. Okay. Trying to anyway. Try to keep him separated. Having trouble keeping aggro on him, hold on. I got the Kakma thing. Want to get the other ones?
Alright. All these guys. Double Kakma.
I'm on it.
Kakma blocked.
Block that Cockman.
This song is pretty tits. Okay, stack up. What? No way. That's pretty cool. Wow.
Now you can fall off.
Okay, yeah. Don't fall. Stay in the center as best you can, I guess. Is that one that you can dodge if you stand to the side of where he's moving his arm?
That one was targeting two different players that should have moved to the edges.
I see.
I think it was one heal and one DPS.
Sounds like 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah, there's a story there.
I'm down.
Okila dead.
Oh, what happened? Should we just jump? Alright, so what happened that went wrong there? Did the thing just not die fast enough, or...?
It was an ab we didn't kill.
Go for it. Everybody but Darkstar. Stack on its body when his arm comes down.
Oh.
Okay, so you have to kill the ad and then stack on its corpse, I guess. It spawns a little tornado zone.
Ah. I remember that happening the last fight. I didn't remember how it spawned. That's good. Oh,
I wonder how they tuned that for PAX. I'll have to ask D-Rock. He had never played Final Fantasy XIV before and did this fight at PAX and won. I think he fell off, but... Okay. Are there any other, like, big major we're going to lose the fight mechanics other than that anyone Twitch chat or Discord remembers? Seems like that's the big one. Stack up on whoever's got the arrows. It's a cool indicator.
Yeah.
Not in this mode. Okay. Does that add phase happen more than once? That's good info. I was just pulling the other 2 ones. Maybe my extra DPS could have helped a bit.
I'm assuming I need to stay in tanking mode for 3rd phase as well, but I'm not sure. Maybe I can switch to DPS mode as well.
Stack up on meat. Okay, I won't do this wrong this time. Second one now, or is that later? There it is. Trying to get him off, yeah.
I got this. I can take hits.
See, like, he must give a debuff or something, that's why you have to split them up, or it's just that he hits really hard.
Yeah.
He hits for like 10,000 damage.
See?
Yeah.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, empty hand does... Oh, were you doing your paladin thing?
I had... No, I just was, had a couple cooldowns up.
Okay, stack up in the middle. I love the animation of him falling off the back. This whole sequence is just really cool. What's the thing about running to the edge? I didn't understand that.
When he targets that's line attack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So after these, he'll do a line attack. And if you're targeted, move to a side the other guy's not at.
Oh, you have to separate from each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not targeted, stay in the center. So, Amaturd was targeted, but he stayed in the center.
I see. Oh, because it's AoE to everyone it hits.
Yeah.
I see.
For some reason, I'm not getting punted back. I don't know why.
How can you tell who's targeted?
There's a light yellow indicator.
Can you grab the mini ads? I'll burn
Yeah.
down this guy. Much better. Stand in the whirlwind.
I died again.
Noob.
If I can get a res, maybe we're okay.
Back in the center.
Yeesh, Dark Star.
Ah.
Oh god. Whoa.
So we were
Guys,
supposed to
that
go
was
to
when
that.
you're supposed to be inside the tornado.
But the thing with the tornado was gone by then.
Could have said something then.
It was way in the back. I was still standing in it.
Oh, I didn't realize it was still there. Okay.
What was this again?
Pillars?
Yes, one person has to stand in each of those at least.
Okay.
Dark Star had it in someone.
Oh shit.
I got wrecked by that.
Yeah. Off the edge.
Man, healer limit break 3. Get a Stark Star. There.
Although it's gonna not save the people.
He's gonna get blasted, yeah. No time.
I got one more attempt to meet him and I gotta
That's
bounce.
something when that thing killed me and Dylan, because didn't know it was behind us, didn't know it was gonna kill us.
So basically, as soon as we kill the ad, he's going to spawn that tornado thing, but there's no reason to be in it. In fact, that was why I died, because there was a big AoE slam that came down on top of us. So don't move into that at all, but stay near it until whatever happens that goes up in the air.
Right, but I'm saying I didn't even see it because, you know, I have to be standing right next to him to poke him in the dick, right?
Yeah, no,
We'll call it out this time. We know it. We know what's going on now.
Is it still there? Like, are you supposed to wait to kill the ad until later, or is it just?
It was still there. I guess we thought it disappeared by the time. I thought it was just going to be the AoE that was on the ground, but it's his big arm sweep that it protects us from.
Okay.
He puts his arm down for the swipe. That's your cue to stand in the tornado. Okay. Stack. I can see why, like, we were in Discord when PAX East was running and D-Rock was like, I'm gonna go do this trial without having played Final Fantasy 14. Like, yeah, you'll be fine. Like, Ravana, we had a bunch of people who never played before, and it's no big deal. Maybe they just tune it way down so it doesn't hit you as hard at PAX. It's definitely not the same as the default trial. Remember at the end, like, the Square Enix guys were just walking up and down telling everybody how to do the fight because they were getting frustrated by people not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
Kill the butterflies. Don't get knocked out the arena. Good luck. Stack. Anti-stack. Stack.
Phase.
Soon.
I think it is 60.
There we go. Nothing's stopping me from, like, keeping him near the rest of the ad so he gets AoE, right? It looks like the only thing he does is a really big single target punch.
Yeah, as long as you got aggro on him, I'm not gonna pull him.
Okay. Yeah. I understand what he does now. I wasn't sure if he was like he gives a buff to his allies or something. I think it's just he hits like a truck. Yeah, I think it's just a big single target attack. Is there a time limit here? Looks like he's casting a big attack, but...
Yeah, I think his ultimate here is going to do more damage if we have more left alive. Something like that.
It's a DPS check. Gotcha. Okay, so we can dodge those two punches, it looks like.
This side. And you guys are both in the center. Okay. Are you going to the same side? Doesn't matter.
We're okay right now.
Doesn't matter.
The storm.
Fall on the one.
He's gonna put some AoEs on top of it, so don't stand in that. That's what got us killed last time. Get out.
Yeah.
And now it can be stood in, although it doesn't need to be at this point.
Alright. Wait for him to put arms down. Stack, stack, stack. Stack, 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 stack.
Phew! Oh, that's cool. Nice. I see.
He moved.
These are the towers that two people have to stand on. No, not yet. This is that. I got one. Okay. I'll just keep tank stance up. DPS I provide is
I
necessary.
think that's all the mechanics. Just keep an eye on him
Repeat.
now.
Don't die.
Ready to split apart.
I got it. And we got this. They're splitting up just fine. Cool.
All right.
I get it. Nice.
Shoot.
Shit.
That
Do a
was
limit
really
break 3 if
bad.
you can, Dark Star.
What's the move where you have to spread?
I think his chest turns blue.
Getting an ad soon? That's
Going
when you just
wards.
want to be all the way forward, I see. Storm.
Little bit add.
Don't stand in that. Stack it. Good job.
Stackity stack in the center. He's a little troll trying to push us out.
When he charges up the energy in his chest, spread out.
Spread.
Oh, I see.
Just targets a couple people, yeah.
But if you're all standing on each other, Pillars. If someone doesn't stand on the pillar, does it do raid damage or something? Get out of the AoE.
What fuck?
Shit. Yeah, you can see where his hand is. I think you can get over far enough to avoid it. I got the pillar. Sides. Is this spread?
Yes, yes.
Spread, spread, spread.
God damn it.
Cool.
So critically, you've got to spread laterally about the middle of the disc with him at the front, not spread at the back, because his next attack will knock you off.
I see. I think that happened to me
I
last
was
time.
all the way to the side of his punch outside the circle, but the shockwave still pushed me off. So that's cool. Make the indicator not actually correct sized.
Can't tank and kill it. Ah, we're dead.
That was a clutch limit break, though, Darkstar. You saved it for that part.
Yeah. Cool, guys. Let me, is there a way for me to, like, exit the duty in the middle of it? Have them kick me?
Yeah, you can press U and then leave.
Yeah, cool fight. We'll be able to open with that next time.
Yeah.
Alright, let me pop out of Discord real quick to sign off, and I'll say bye to you guys in a sec. Thanks everybody for hanging out. I gotta bounce, so I won't be. If someone wants to throw a host to somebody, knock yourselves out. Have a good rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Monday for some more video games. Bye everybody.